What's up, you guys? So this week I made banana bread again. This is one of my favorite recipes that I've been using from Oshiklo's with a couple of modifications. I'll link the original recipe in the description box and kind of tell you the changes I made. I made this a few times throughout quarantine, and ironically, the time that I decided to film it was the worst time. This is the worst recipe. This is last time I made it, and I would give these a 10 out of 10, but the ones that I made this week, maybe like a 6 out of 10. And I will tell you the mistakes that I made so you can avoid making them and you can get 10 out of 10 banana bread. So the first modification that I made was switching out the regular flour, or whatever kind of flour the recipe calls for oat flour. And a little kitchen hack that I learned recently is that you can actually make your own oat flour in the blender or in like a food processor, and it actually comes out cheaper than going to the store and buying oat flour. So here's the first mistake that I made. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups of oat flour, and I didn't realize that I was using a 1/4 cup and not a 1/2 cup, so I put in 3 scoops thinking I was making a 1.5 cups, and really it was 3/4 of a cup. And at this point, while I'm blending it, I realized that it seems like less flour than usual, but I didn't question it. I didn't do anything about it. I just kept blending it. So even though I did end up catching this mistake later and I blended another 3/4 of a cup of flour, so I had the correct amount of flour going into the banana bread, I would still call this a mistake because blending a small amount of oat flour, the texture just doesn't come out as good. I think when you blend a larger amount, it gets more fine and like flour-like. You'll see in a second. I'm going to open the blender and it's still a little bit oaty and grainy, and this should have been another sign to me that I had made a mistake, but it wasn't. And oh god, what are those? These are the disgusting frozen defrosted bananas that I pulled out of my freezer. They remind me of the slugs that came out of Ron Weasley's mouth. They look disgusting and like they don't belong in food, but here we go, we're making this anyway. The first time I made banana bread, I had to check to make sure I hadn't made a horrible mistake, but apparently this is what they're supposed to look like, so I just went with it, and here we are mashing them up to make them even more disgusting. And here are a couple of other mistakes that I made. It says in the recipe to measure your mashed bananas. I didn't. I just counted the number of bananas, and I think I might have had a little bit too much. And I think these bananas were also like extra watery and might have added more water to the recipe than necessary. I don't know how I would have remedied that. Maybe set them aside outside of their little water tank for for a little while. Let some of the water drain out. That's disgusting. So added to the gross bananas, we have flaxseed. I think that's all that's in there right now. Yep, there it is, flax seeds. We're also adding baking soda, baking powder, almond milk, or whatever kind of plant-based milk you want to add. Coconut sugar. What is that? We also have coconut oil melted. Here's another mistake that will show up later, but I'll point that one out when we get there. Also, we have maple syrup, which I don't usually add. I usually just use the coconut sugar, but this time because I had maple syrup on hand, I decided to use it. And honestly, I prefer it better with just the coconut sugar, not using the maple syrup. But I'm glad that I tried it. And then we also have vanilla extract. I don't know why I keep like slowly popping the vanilla extract in front of the camera like a weirdo. There I go, I did it again. How many more times will I do it? Also, I think you can probably hear my cat Herschel meowing in the background of this voiceover. That is just how he is, and I would never get through this if I stopped every time he meowed, so we're just gonna continue. So here's the mistake. I added the melted coconut oil to cold bananas, and then the coconut oil started to solidify again, and so I just popped it in the microwave for like 15 seconds, a few seconds at a time, trying to get it just to kind of room temperature, so that the coconut oil little blobs would melt again. So here I am realizing that I made a mistake on the flour, but don't worry guys, it's all under control. Added the rest of the flour, and they also call for like, I don't remember the amount, but there's some just regular unblended oats. Also, FYI, I'm not going too into detail on the like amounts and the modifications, substitutions, because I'm going to post that in the description box. I know if I try to tell you the amounts like here, I will mess up and I'll have to do this over 75,000 times. So I'm just going to let you read it where you know that it's correct. So here we are blending, incorporating, mixing everything together. And normally I don't taste banana bread batter because it seems disgusting to me because of the disgusting slug-like bananas. But this day I decided to be brave and taste it, and I'm glad I did because honestly I feel like the batter was maybe even a little bit better than the finished product. But I think that's only because this finished product on this particular day didn't come out 10 out of 10. But yeah, taste the batter. Be brave. It's worth it. God, how much longer does this video go on? Are you guys still watching? Okay, so here's like the mix-in stuff. So I think I didn't, yeah, for some reason didn't like that shot. Here I am showing it to you again. I usually add these chocolate chunks from Enjoy Life, and I usually put some on top too, but I was running low, so I just kind of dumped them in. And I also, here I'm showing you again and again and again. Normally I should edit this down, but I am not doing that today, I guess. So here's where you preheat your oven to 350, or if you're like me, it's already on 350 and then you just mess it up and you put it back on 350. And I only have this teeny tiny loaf pan, and the recipe, it produces too much batter to just fit in here. So I usually make a loaf, and then I also make some little muffins, which I will show you. There they are. So this time I also decided to slice up some bananas and put them on top. I don't think I've ever actually done this, and I am glad that I tried it, but I think because the problem that I had with this particular batch was that there was a little bit too much moisture. I think the extra banana slices on top added a little bit too much moisture. I'll cut the finished muffins later and show you kind of what I mean, because the area right under the banana slices was like just a little bit, I don't want to say undercooked, but it was like a little bit moist. I'll show you at the end. And just like magic, here is the finished product. As you can see, it's a little bit, you can tell like the flour was not processed enough, and it came out a little bit grainy. It was still good though. It tasted a little bit more like the consistency of like a bran muffin than a banana muffin. We'll call it like a banana bran bread, even though there's no bran. You know what I mean. Okay, so here they are out of the pan. Let's zoom in real close on this one muffin. Oh, let's zoom in on this. These are actually photos, and this is iMovie auto zooming. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what else to say about these muffins. They are good. You should make them, and I don't know. Have a nice day, I guess, and see you next time.